To paraphrase the late great Mr. Brody Lee, may he rest in peace, it's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Movie Nerds Club to assemble yet again. This month, we're going to be talking about our top 5 non-DCEU DC movies. But this is a collaborative effort, and I do hope that you all check out my fellow members of the Movie Nerds Club. Their videos will be linked in the description below. I'm a fan of all of these creators, so please check them out after you are done with this video. Or if you want to check out more of my own stuff, there will be a playlist link in the eye in the right-hand corner. But before I get started, I want to give one brief caveat. The Dark Knight from 2008 is the greatest non-DCEU DC movie ever made. And so with that in mind, as far as my list goes, I am taking it off the table. I want to have some spontaneity with this list, and I have a feeling that across all of my fellow lists, or my fellow members, The Dark Knight is going to be pretty well represented. So please keep in mind that The Dark Knight is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, if not the greatest. I would just like to talk about, well, other DC movies. Nothing against The Dark Knight, like I said, it's one of the greats, but I feel like that can be done by my fellow list members. So with that out of the way, here are my 2 honorable mentions. Superman 2. I got to watch this in the middle of last year, and yeah, it was pretty dang good. For a sequel, they actually did a really good job, and I'm not sure about the Richard Donner cut. I have not seen it. I watched the version on HBO Max, so if that is the Richard Donner cut, then it was great. And Joker from 2019. There was a period of time when I was really high on this movie. It was actually my favorite movie of that year. However, I think my stance has kind of softened on it. I still love the movie. I still think it's great. But I actually found 5 movies that I like more than that one. So, with all the grandstanding and the hot dogging out of the way, let's dig into my list, starting with number 5. Number 5, Watchmen. Watchmen is one of the greatest graphic novels ever written. So, making a movie about this is going to be very tough. But I think Zack Snyder came about as close to making it good as you could ever ask for. If you watch this movie just for one scene, it is the opening and the opening fight scene. The opening credits in this movie are just a work of art. It's an alternate timeline of U.S. history timed to the song The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. And then that all leads into the opening fight between, well, no spoilers, but the main villain of the movie and the comedian. And how that whole scene is just shot beautifully. It's beautiful in its brutality. From the first time we see the comedian to him standing up and seeing who it is, and he's like, it's a matter of time, I suppose. All of this being done to the song Unforgettable by Nat King Cole, and the cherry on top being after this big fight where the comedian is just out on his feet, and he's all beaten and bloody, and he just looks at this dude and he's like, it was just a joke. And then a little drip of blood falls onto his little happy face button before he is thrown out the window. It's one of the best movie openings of all time. The rest of the movie is great as well, but that opening is just magnifique. Number 4, V for Vendetta. Yeah, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. Got that out of the way. This was actually quite a big surprise. I actually watched this for the first time, I think in like 2015 or 16, and I absolutely loved it. The movie presents a totalitarian nightmare world that is similar to ours but different in very noticeable ways to a very scary and a tad realistic degree, rife with corruption and just fear throughout. And it is all tied together with the beautiful performance from Hugo Weaving, who, by the way, we never see his face throughout the entire movie. Even in quiet moments when he's just like making eggs in a nest for Evie. There are quite a few disturbing scenes, especially everything involving Evie and the Prison stuff? Just see it and you'll find out. But James McTeague, the Wachowskis, and of course Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman, can't forget about her, all knocked this movie out of the ballpark. If you have not seen it in a while, watch it again. It is better than you remember. Number 3, Superman. If you'd followed me for any length of time, then you will know that I love Man of Steel. I think it is a masterpiece. A flawed masterpiece, but a masterpiece nonetheless. However, I watched Superman 78 for the very first time when I was going to do a series on my channel where I review every Batman and Superman movie in preparation for Batman v Superman. I only reviewed Batman 89, which, you know what, someday I gotta actually complete, but note to self. I ended up watching this movie for the first time, and I thought it was good. But then the more I thought about it, the better it got. When people say that Christopher Reeve is their Superman, I totally understand why. He makes this movie work. He feels like a Superman for that time. It has moments where he is definitely unsure of himself, and he can fall for certain things. However, he is not a pushover, and if you step to him, then he will not hesitate to send you down. Christopher Reeve is excellent. Gene Hackman is awesome as Lex Luthor. Ned Beatty, may he rest in peace, is cool in here as well. And is this movie definitely of the times, especially in terms of its effects? Yes, it is. However, all these decades later, I think it still holds up. It made people believe that a man could fly. I mean, that ain't nothing. And while I will always love Man of Steel, flaws and all, Superman 78 deserves all the respect in the world. Number 2, Batman, 1989. Do I think it's the best Batman movie ever made? No, not by a mile. But I think that it is one of the more unique ones. I think as I've grown up and gotten a little more mature, I've grown to appreciate Michael Keaton's Batman just that much more. I love that we're going to be seeing him in the upcoming Flash movie that hopefully will get released, not due to the pandemic, but because it's gotten so many writers, directors, and they've all just left. So hopefully we do see it. This movie doesn't utilize Batman as a ninja. That part comes later. They uses the reputation of Batman as his primary weapon. Literal smoke and mirrors, that even though Batman can't move his neck all that much, he uses these smoke and mirrors to distract his enemies. He is the perfect image of cold stoicism, which is the perfect counterpart to Jack Nicholson as the Joker, a loud, over-the-top, colorful clown who dances to Prince. I mean, talk about yin and yang, am I right? And by the way, there would be better Joker performances. However, whoever cast Jack Nicholson as the Joker deserved a raise because they did the best job. There are definitely some diversions from the source material here, including giving Batman guns and making the Joker the killer of Batman's parents, which is just kind of strange. That's a very weird flex. However, what this movie lacks in faith to the source material, it makes up for in atmosphere, like I mentioned. As the years go on, I think Batman 89 gets more and more underrated, especially for going as hard as it did. And my favorite non-DCEU DC movie, that is not The Dark Knight, is Batman Begins. I feel like in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, everybody talks about either The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises, and Batman Begins just gets shunted off into the corner. I think that's a shame, because this movie is subtly excellent, and is just the sleeper hit of the entire trilogy. Not counting a certain Batman movie that involves a phantasm, this is the definitive live-action Batman origin movie. One of my favorite Batman comic runs is Batman Year One by Frank Miller, and Batman Begins is about as close to a Batman Year One movie as we will probably ever get. This movie has a really great villain, two of them, including Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson, and the Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy, which definitely gave me nightmares when I was a child. What else can I say? This movie is just incredibly well made. From the beginning to the end, everything is just so good. Also has one of my favorite Batman lines, where he's posed over Ra's al Ghul, he's got him dead to rights, and then he says, "I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you." He parachutes out of the train, Ra's al Ghul looks and sees his fate, he closes his eyes and he goes, and then the train crashes. Beautiful stuff. Like I said, I think Batman Begins gets a bit of the shaft, and not because of anything it did, but because The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises are so good that it kind of cancels that one out. And again, that's a shame, because Batman Begins is awesome. And if you haven't seen it in a while, watch it again, because it's great. That is my list. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, please be sure to check out my fellow listmates. They will be in the description below. And also, if you want to check out more of my Movie Nerds Club videos, there will be a playlist link in the eye in the right-hand corner. And this coming Sunday, stay tuned for my first reaction to the Studio Ghibli film, Ponyo. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.